A good Tuesday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Ben Dery. Thanks for checking us out on the stream. Well, this latest heat wave is extended through the rest of the week, and we have our weather impact alert that's in effect until 9 p.m. on Thursday. It's not necessarily due to the severity of the heat. It's more so just the duration of this. This is lasting several days. It is an official heat wave, and the heat index each day through the end of the week nearing 100 degrees. So we need to practice some heat safety and make sure you are taking some steps to get yourself out of the heat if you are exposed to the heat for a long duration of time, especially during the peak daytime heating hours. And it's important to know the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So heat exhaustion can be serious, but heat stroke, that's an emergency. And it's, again, important to know the difference between the two. Now, on the left side there, heat exhaustion, you might be feeling faint or dizzy after spending a long period of time outdoors. Excessive sweating, we're talking more than normal. Your skin might be cool, pale, and a bit clammy. You have a rapid, weak pulse, some muscle cramps. And if you have those symptoms, you do need to get to a cool place. Get indoors, get into some air conditioning, especially the lowest level of a home. Get a fan on you and drink water if possible. Heat stroke, that's again more of an emergency, a throbbing headache that won't go away. No sweating. So that's the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Your body temperature gets above 103, like a big fever, nausea or vomiting, a rapid, strong pulse, and may lose consciousness. If any of those things happen, do call 911 and take immediate action to try to cool yourself down. This extreme heat warning continues through 9 p.m. on Thursday. And again, the heat index getting up to 100 degrees each day. We've certainly seen hotter days so far this summer, but it's again that duration of which is it's starting to wear on us a little bit more as this continues through the rest of the week. Now, these are forecast high temperatures today. Most of us will be in the low to mid 90s for forecast highs. That stretches from the Minnesota-Iowa border up towards the international border. And we are noticing a couple of isolated thunderstorms starting to pop across the international border as well. Minimal rain chances, but any little bit of rain is wonderful news for areas up north. But the lightning is not great because the wildfires up in the boundary waters, well, most of those were started by lightning a couple of days after the 4th. One thing that is going to change is the smoke from those wildfires, at least over the last couple of days with a southwesterly wind. That smoke has been blowing off into Canada, into southern parts of Ontario. What's going to happen later this week is there's a stationary frontal boundary across northern Minnesota that's going to slowly sag southward, and there's going to be a bit of a wind shift. The wind initially shifting from the northwest and eventually from the north. That's going to pull some of that wildfire smoke into our area, and it will have an impact on air quality. All these counties highlighted here, basically along and north of I-94, that's an air quality alert in effect through 11 a.m. on Friday due to the potential for unhealthy air thanks to that wildfire smoke. We've seen the winds, again, primarily from that west-southwesterly direction, but again, as that front sags southward, we're already starting to see that wind shift across the international border. And here's our smoke forecast model that shows where those fires are burning. The darker colors indicate higher concentrations of wildfire smoke. Just after midnight tonight, that smoke reaching to the head of Lake Superior, so Duluth, Superior, northern Wisconsin, the Bayfield Peninsula. But watch how quickly that smoke pushes its way into central Minnesota and west central Wisconsin. So this is by 9 a.m. tomorrow. You're probably going to see some smoky haze on the horizon over the next few days. And unfortunately, it does look like some of this smoke is going to work its way into the surface. So that means worsening air quality. And it doesn't look like the smoke's going to go away super fast. This forecast model takes us all the way into Thursday morning, and you can see that red concentration, meaning smoke will be in that elevated category at least through Thursday, possibly into Friday morning, before we see another wind shift that should push the smoke out of our area. Here's our radar satellite composite. There's some of those isolated storms we're seeing across northern Minnesota. We still have this big ridge of high pressure, which is still in place. There's the storm track, which is starting to make a little bit of a shift southward. And over the next couple of days, this ridge is going to gradually weaken and eventually re-strengthen further off to our west. And what that's going to do for us is, first off, we should see slightly cooler temperatures later in the week into the upcoming weekend, but also a more active storm pattern that should, in theory, give us more opportunities at seeing some rain showers. So the big time heat will be wrapping up slowly this upcoming weekend. We're still talking highs in the mid to upper 80s, but at least it's not the mid 90s with the triple digit heat index value. values. So that's going away for at least a little while, and we should see a little break from the extreme heat. Speaking of extreme, today's an interesting day in Twin Cities lore. On this day, July 14th, 1936, it was the hottest day ever recorded in the Twin Cities. 108 degrees. That was the cap of, I think it was like 8 days. 8 of the previous 9 days were 100 degrees or warmer. So this is July of 1936. All those numbers you see on the right are high temperatures from that day, or from that month, I should say. And you can see from July 6th all the way through the 14th, the temperature was warmer than 100 degrees with the exception on the 9th. This July ended up being the hottest the hottest month on record in the Twin Cities. And remember, this is a time, 1936, where air conditioning wasn't widely used in residential areas. You had to go to a movie theater or commercial buildings like that. So just imagine dealing with that kind of heat without air conditioning. Thankfully, we live in modern times, and you can see temperatures staying in the 90s at least through Saturday before trending cooler by the second half of the weekend.